Hello everyone, welcome back to Pabbly. In this video, we're going to learn how to add IndiaMart leads in queries to Salesforce for Rustic Texture Paint service. So I'm an owner of a Rustic Texture Paint service business, and using IndiaMart, I receive a lot of leads and inquiries from my business, and using Salesforce, I use it as a CRM application in my business. Here what I want is that as soon as any of the potential customers or clients, a new lead is going to be generated in my IndiaMart account, I want to create that same lead in my Salesforce account so that I can manage my leads further. Now, doing this process manually is very time consuming. So what I've done is I've simply automated this entire process with the help of Pabbly Connect, which is an amazing automation and integration software. And here in this automation, I'm going to build a connection between IndiaMart and Salesforce with the help of it. So if you also want to learn about this amazing automation process step by step, for that, let me take you to my screen. In this video, we're going to learn how to add IndiaMart leads in queries to Salesforce for Rustic Texture Paint service. As an owner of a Rustic Texture Paint service business, I use IndiaMart to receive leads in queries who are interested in my services. And I use Salesforce to organize and track my leads. To ensure no inquiry is missed, I've automated this entire process of adding IndiaMart leads directly into my Salesforce account. This automation helps me improve lead management, boost response times, and increase conversations. And I'm going to create this amazing automation between IndiaMart and Salesforce with the help of Pabbly Connect. So on the screen, you can see the website of Pabbly Connect, that is pabbly.com/connect. After browsing this website, we need to sign into our Pabbly Connect account. But if you're a new user, you can sign up for free and get 100 free tasks every month. So as I'm an existing user, I'm going to sign into my Pabbly Connect account. After signing in, you can see the all Pabbly apps in front of you, in which you can see all the products that Pabbly provides, from which we are going to select Pabbly Connect by clicking on this Access Now button right here. Then Pabbly Connect's dashboard is going to appear in front of you. In order to start an automation process in Pabbly Connect, we need to create a workflow. For that, click on this top right corner button right here that says Create Workflow. A dialog box is then going to appear in front of you, which is asking for the workflow name and for us to select a folder. So for the name of my workflow over here, I'm going to give it as Add IndiaMart leads in queries to Salesforce for Rustic Texture Paint service. So this is the name that I want to give to my workflow. After that, it is asking for us to select a folder. So on the left side of my screen, you can see I've created multiple folders in my Pabbly Connect account, from which I'm going to select a specific folder in which I want to save this workflow in. For that, click on this drop down. These are the folders from which I'm going to select IndiaMart Automations as the folder I want to save this workflow in. After giving the name to the workflow and selecting the folder, I am going to click on this create button in order to create a workflow. A workflow is created over here in the name of Add IndiaMart leads in queries to Salesforce for Rustic Texture Paint service, and you can see that there are two windows in front of you. One says trigger, other says action. So what is trigger and action? Trigger and action are the two most important steps of our automation process, because our process depends on these two concepts. Over here, trigger says when this happens and action says do this. That means what is action? Action is a response towards our trigger. In an automation process, there can be only one trigger step but multiple action steps. We are going to set up our trigger step first. And for the trigger application over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it as IndiaMart. As in my IndiaMart account, I'm receiving a lot of leads and inquiries for my Rustic Texture Paint service business. And I want that as soon as a new lead is going to be generated in my IndiaMart account, automatically over here the trigger should capture the response of the lead. Okay, that is why for my trigger application I've selected it as IndiaMart, and for the trigger event I'm going to select it as new leads. After selecting the trigger application and the event, you can see that Pabbly Connect has provided us with a webhook URL. Now using this unique webhook URL, we're going to build a connection between IndiaMart and Pabbly Connect by following the steps given here below in the help desk. So firstly, I'm going to copy this URL from here. After copying the URL, I'm going to log into my IndiaMart account. So this is the account that I want to connect to Pabbly Connect. In order to do that, from the left side of the panel, go to the Lead Manager option right here. After landing towards the Lead Manager page, go to this menu button in the top left corner. From the drop down, go to Import Export Leads, and from the given options, click on this Push API button right here. Then you're going to land towards the push API integration page of your IndiaMart account, and over here it is asking for you to select the source. If I'm going to click on the drop down, the given source is not provided in the drop down, so I'm going to select the source as other. It is asking for the platform name. So the platform name over here, I'm going to give it as Pabbly Connect, and for the URL I'm going to paste the webhook URL that Pabbly Connect has provided us. Click on Save Details button. It is asking for the reason why we're creating this API. For that I'm going to select the random reason from the drop down and click on this button right here. As I'm going to do that, you can see the URL has now been successfully added to my IndiaMart account. As now the URL is added, I'm going to go back to my workflow and scroll down. It is saying waiting for webhook response. So now to check whether IndiaMart is successfully connected to Pabbly Connect or not, what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate a test inquiry in my IndiaMart account, and after generating the test inquiry, I'm going to check whether Pabbly Connect captures the response of the test inquiry being generated or not. For generating the test inquiry in my IndiaMart account, I'm going to log into the user account of my IndiaMart. So this is my IndiaMart's user account, and I will be generating the inquiry using this account right here. I'm going to search for the dummy product that I've created. So I've created a dummy product over here in the name of, this is the dummy product right over here. I'm going to select it, and using this dummy product, I'm going to generate the inquiry. I'm going to click on this contact supplier button. It is asking for the reasons over here, the features that I want. So I'm going to select the features from here and then click on this next button. It is asking for the inquiry that I have. So for the inquiry over here, I'm going to write it as, interested in bulk texture painting for commercial project, please share your rates and available textures. This is the inquiry that I have. I'm going to click on this next button. For the GST number over here, I'm going to enter a dummy GST number right here and click on this submit button to generate the test lead. It says our details are sent. As now the test lead is generated, I'm going to go back to my workflow. So this is my workflow, and if I'm going to scroll down, you can see over here the response of the new lead being generated has been captured over here in my trigger. Status comes as success. For the query ID, we received the dummy query ID. Subject, this is subject of the lead. For the state over here, it comes as Madhya Pradesh. After that, over here it is the lead's name, that comes over here as Angel. If I'm going to further scroll down, this is the phone number of our lead. Email comes as testuser@pabblytuts.com. Country as IN, that is India. Company as test company. City as Bhopal. Address as Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. If I'm going to further scroll down, this is over here the date and time of the lead being generated. This was the dummy product for which the lead was generated, and this was the message that was selected by us while generating the lead, that was interested in bulk texture painting for a commercial project. Please share your rates and available textures and all the other details that we have selected while doing the lead submission. As now the response of the lead generated has been captured over here in our trigger, this means that IndiaMart has now been successfully connected to Pabbly Connect and our trigger setup is done. After setting up our trigger step, we need to set up our action step, and my objective is that as soon as the lead is going to be generated in my IndiaMart account, I want to create this lead as a lead in my Salesforce account. Now for doing that, we're going to set up our action step, and for the action application over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it as Salesforce. So I'm going to select my action application as Salesforce, and for the action event over here, I'm going to select it as create lead. Then I'm going to click on this connect button. A window is going to appear in front of you, on which click on add new connection, or else you can select the existing connection that you have. After that, click on connect with Salesforce. A window is then going to appear in front of you, which is asking for a permission. So I'm going to click on this allow button. As this is saved, present my data is perfectly saved with Pabbly Connect. So I'm going to click on this allow button right here. As I've done that, you can see we have successfully authorized Salesforce to Pabbly Connect. After authorizing, it is asking for the first name, last name, and all the other details of the lead that we want to create in our Salesforce account. So for the data of these fields, what we're going to do is we're going to map the data. Mapping means inserting data from the previous step. So we're going to insert the data from the previous step of this workflow, and how it works is that as soon as I'm going to click on this field, this was the previous step, and as I'm going to click on it, this was the same response that was captured in our previous step. Over here it is asking for the lead's first name, and I want to create this lead that was generated in my IndiaMart account as a lead in my Salesforce account as well. So for the data of this field, I'm going to select the data of the name of my lead from my previous response. As I have selected the data from my previous response, the data is mapped, and as I have mapped the data has now become dynamic. That means now whenever a new response is going to be captured in our previous step, automatically the new data is going to be updated in place of this map data. It is asking for the last name of my lead, and the last name is a required field. In the response, we have received the lead's name, and I have received the first name of my lead only. So I'm going to select the data of the last name as the first name of the lead as well. Okay. It is asking for the title. So the title over here, I'm going to write it as new lead. Okay. Next, it is asking for the company name. So the company name, I'm going to map the data of the company name that I've received right here. For the phone number, we have received the data of the phone number. So I'm going to map the data of the phone number right over here. I'm going to search for the phone number. I'm going to map the data of the phone number. Okay. It is asking for the email address. So I'm going to map the data of the email address of my lead right here. Okay. Then it is asking for the description. For the description over here, I'm going to map the data of the message that I've received in my previous response. For the lead source is not provided in the drop down. So I'm going to toggle this map button on. And for the lead source over here, I'm going to manually type in India Mart lead. Okay, this is the lead source. Status is going to be open, rating is going to be hot. For the street, that is the address. I'm going to map the data of the address that I've received. For the city name over here, I'm going to map the data of the city name that I've received. And for the country over here, I'm going to map the data of the country right over here. Okay, I'm going to map the data. After filling the required details, I'm going to click on the save and send test request button. And as I'm going to do that, we have received a response, which is a positive response. And I'm going to open my Salesforce account. This is the leads page of my Salesforce account. You can see right here. I'm going to refresh this page from here. As I refresh the page in the recent items, you can see a new lead has been created in my Salesforce account. Let's tally the response. Name comes as Angel. Company is test company. Title as new lead. Status as open. Source as India Mart lead is the phone number. Email as testuser@pablitudes.com. Hot as is the rating. If I'm going to further scroll down, the description over here comes as interested bulk texture. This was the same message that was generated while generating the lead. And this is the address you can see right over here. As now the lead is successfully added to my Salesforce account as well, this means that we have successfully created an automation between IndiaMart and Salesforce with the help of Pabbly Connect. So now to sum up till now what we have done, I am an owner of a rustic texture painting service business, and using IndiaMart I receive a lot of leads and queries for my business, and I use Salesforce as my CRM application in my business. Over here for the trigger, I've selected as IndiaMart new leads, as whenever by the potential customers or clients a new lead is going to be generated by IndiaMart account, the trigger is going to capture the response of that over here. In the action, I've selected as Salesforce create lead. Now using the leads details that has been captured in this response, a lead is automatically going to be added using this action step in my Salesforce account. And with Pabbly Connect, I have built a connection between IndiaMart and Salesforce in this manner. So this was it for this video. Thank you so much for watching.
Not just with these applications, you can create automation between multiple other applications with the help of Pabbly Connect. If you have any questions, you can contact us on support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can check the queries on forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any pricing related issues, then you can check out this link. If you like this video, please do subscribe to our channel, hit on the like button, comment on if you have any questions or doubts, and please share this video.